Lights on. You ready for the motion?
All right, good evening. It's 7 o'clock. We're back in public for this portion of the meeting, so I'd like to begin by rising to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. And I'm going to make a motion that we move that the board has just come out of non-public session under RSA 91-A:3, 2A, comma, B, and C, and that they keep all matters discussed confidential until, in the opinion of the majority of the board, the circumstances no longer apply except to provide the bookkeeper with the necessary information for payroll.
Anybody want a second?
Second.
Seconded by Charlie. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, continuing on with our agenda. Item B, Mr. Robert White is here. He's come a long way to speak to us. And he has a question regarding a past warrant article. Mr. White, how are you this evening?
I'm fine. My question was, I need a location for my property so I could put electricity out there. And hopefully you guys can honor the warrant article that passed.
So this is the landlocked.
It's a long time running,
Yeah.
but it passed, and both articles passed, and they just weren't honored. Oh, the railroad, it's a mess. Maybe you could straighten it out. Good.
So, I mean, I think what we need to do, I was thinking about this today, and hopefully the board is on board, so to speak, is whatever we do, we can just kind of ask town council for a recommendation, and they can kind of independently review what the, in terms of zoning, and also the warrant articles that were over the years, right? And then they can kind of come back and recommend what we can do, because to me, I think we have a few options of what we can do. And I see Trish is back there, and do you want to bring like kind of the conservation end of this?
I'll help Bob. I told him he needs to
Okay,
behave,
yeah.
or I'm going to
I
pinch
got it
him.
written down right there. Electricity.
See, Tricia. So to give TV Land a little background, back in 2009, a warrant article was issued. It gave, and it came, I want to say originally from the planning board. I didn't bring it. But originally it requested the residents to vote to allow him access to his road, Deluxe Ave. Thanks. Okay. And it was three alternatives. It was three choices, rather. Down the Peanut Trail, behind Gale Village Road, Gale Library, sorry. I'll give you a new location. And at the end of Town Hall Road. So out of those three options, the Peanut Trail is a no-go because if you remember, some of you have been here for a long time, no motorized vehicles from 108 at the Peanut Trail down towards Merrimack, not allowed. So that affected him. Behind Gale Library, the selectmen can't give him access because he would have to cross a private property, and obviously we can't make that kind of access. So the end of Town Hall Road, there's a conservation parcel, and what he's asking for is that conservation parcel to give him an easement or right-of-way, whatever your attorneys might suggest, to let him get down to his property. So that's really the only choice out of all those three choices that were given that the residents actually voted yes for and said, yeah, give this guy access. So that's a little background. You as the board, you have the authority, along with legal counsel, to come up with language that would make sense so that he can get down to his property. So that's just a quick background. Okay.
So, and while you're near the mic, so conservation has no...
Well, poor Bob, he's come to us so many times, he should be on the Conservation Committee. Conservation it's conservation land, but we don't have the authority to give him that access. It has to come from you. Clearly, you have total control over all lands in Newton, including conservation. But there's not, we don't have something endangered living there. There's not anything going on that so far conservation has thought, wait a minute, hold on, let's stop. We've just explained, you gotta go to the selectmen and let them take it to the next level, whatever that might be.
Thank you.
And it's been a long time running, since '09. Both warrant articles passed. I'm not gonna say anything. And yeah, I'd like you to contemplate a resolution. It was supposed to be resolved a long time ago.
Sounds like it. Anybody have any questions while we're here?
No, I just, I feel that we're definitely gonna have to go to legal counsel with this to make sure that Ts are crossed and the Is are dotted, so that we can see how we could be able to do this for you effectively, to make sure that there's nothing that'll end up coming back on you or the town, and to make this all totally legitimate, and that there's nothing that's gonna backfire on it, just so you understand that.
See, I've used all them accesses. So I went to first, I've used them all for more than 20 years, when I submitted the warrant articles. So I already had the time. Okay, thank you. I get mixed up, my mind flies too fast.
No worries. Anybody else while we're here with questions?
Can I make a comment?
Sounds like Roger Hamill.
Yes, it is.
Go ahead, Roger.
I looked at the assessor's map, and it appears as though this parcel does not abut the town's conservation lot either. There's another intervening lot owned by someone else.
I
So
don't.
it almost sounds like there is no solution for the town, because from the assessor's map, the only land that the town owns that abuts his property is the Peanut Trail, and the Peanut Trail is a Class B trail, so it can't be used as access for a structure.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't wear flash to handle.
that could be true. I don't know if it is or not, but that's something we should consider. I really think it's kind of like we've been talking about. We're not saying yes and we're not saying no tonight. We're saying let's get an opinion on this. And what Roger just talked about is something we definitely need somebody looking at the map to tell us if that is indeed the case. And then we'll get back to you and we'll get back together and we'll figure out what the next step is.
In 2003, the town voted on plowing and maintaining Deluxe Ave. Mary Marshall, Stephen Cushion, and Norman Harding, the Board of Selectmen at the time. Oh, so you're gonna answer you're gonna tell me where Deluxe Ave is, correct?
Yeah, I think that's part of it, yeah.
Because they said they knew where it was, and ever since then, it's been a difficult problem for me.
Sounds like it.
And it's been a long time.
Yeah, it sounds like we need clarity after all of this, so.
So what's going on? That's it.
So I think for tonight, that's it, but I think we're gonna get back together once we get some opinions on it, so. So, like I said, tonight we can't give you a definitive answer, but we're gonna get the information we need, so this can kind of get
No
closed
question,
out.
nobody has any questions, nothing, huh?
Not until legal counsel weighs in and I look at a map. Based on those two things, I can give you an opinion.
Okay. Okay, thank
But
you.
we appreciate it, we'll be back in touch. We know where you live, so
Yeah,
we'll be able to find you.
okay.
All right,
We appreciate your time.
thank you
Yeah,
guys.
oh yeah. So, like, I've got to have this addressed as soon as possible, because if I had your mother down there, or my mother down there, and something happens, if I say, call up 911, say Deluxe Ave, and they come to the wrong address, who's responsible? I've been paying my taxes every year since 1990. They're paid up to full. And hey, when I found that out, I flipped out because it's an address, and where is it? The police would like to know, and the fire department, where he is, would like to know. Sure, you know.
Yep,
So
that makes
it
sense.
should be addressed.
Makes sense. Many concerns, yeah.
Pretty urgent, wouldn't you think? I do go down there every day,
Yeah.
just because I have all my belongings in a bag.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. All right. Trish, I think you're next up. So. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Okay. So just my EOC and my ARPA report. I'm reminding you that I do this, or the committee gets together and we research whatever we can to try to help save the taxpayers' money by using grant money instead of budget money that we sometimes do and sometimes don't have. We're dealing with technology, computers, camera. We met with a couple of companies. We're going to go and see their headquarters to actually see how they work. We've had some incidents in our parking lots, illegal dumping at the transfer station, so security cameras would be a great idea in order to help the police do their job and see when we've got something that shouldn't have happened. Air got let out of somebody's tires after a meeting. There was other things like that. So this is going to be really good for us. The planning board printer and ZBA printer, we got prices. I have one more guy local from Haverhill that's giving us some prices, and I thought I'd have him this afternoon. I won't, but he's very anxious to work with us. He works with some local engineers in the area and comes highly recommended. So at the next meeting, I'll be able to give you that information. Filters for the town hall and the library also. We're moving forward with that. We've asked the company that we were recommended to use for updated prices, so I'll give you that as well as our next meeting. And the solar company. Kim gave us all the utility bills so that they can give us a price for how solar would be and how it would offset our electricity bills in the town buildings. The EOC update, as you know, we've had a horrendous heat wave. We've checked on multiple residents to make sure they were comfortable, make sure they either had fans. In some cases, there was somebody that needed help with an AC, but we kept in touch along with we call her our captain over at Packer Meadows. She kept us informed as to who needed something, and also the fact that the community center AC was out, so it's now working, so we're all set with that. As a reminder, COVID hasn't gone away. Unfortunately, you all saw the latest update. As of August 12th, things change. It's kind of like the weather. Everything changes. In the last, right, you and I have talked about this. In the last 14 days, we have 12 new cases in Newton. So far, that brings us up to 1,139 cases in Newton. And only 44.6% of our residents have been fully vaccinated, and only 17% have received boosters. So when it comes to the school, here's what's going on with all our webinars and our conference calls. The school has concerns, as we do here at Town Hall. So because of these new guidelines, this is kind of just a reminder. All the information I'm going to tell you, you've all heard before. The TV people have heard it, and all our employees. We have extreme concerns going forward. We don't want to spread this. And now if there is, as you know, a household member that's positive, if you're not positive, you can still come to work. That's a concern. We need to make sure, and I'm going to ask Diane to let me talk to the new maintenance guy. We've got to make sure that our sanitizers are all full, that if we have wipes around, if he doesn't, he needs to come to me so that I can give them out. I have a full inventory. I just have to check off who I give stuff to. So we've got to be a little bit more proactive so that if somebody does get sick or they're in a household with somebody sick, they're not passing it to any one of us when they come to these meetings. If you do need anything, if you're a town employee, committee, volunteer, serve on a board, and you need supplies, whether it's wipes, masks, the sanitizer solutions that we have, please call me. You can call the EOC at 382-1610, or my cell, if I don't answer and you go into a recording, my cell is 978-360-4152, which is also on the EOC website, and the updates that happen on the 12th are also on the EOC update. Just as a reminder also, again, our committees, our boards, our staff, the Emergency Management Department is responsible for contact tracing. So if we have somebody in town, I was going to ad-lib it, but let me read what I wrote down because it probably makes more sense. If you are near somebody that is positive, you need to notify us, me, right now. And then it's my job to notify HR, which right now is Diane and Kim, until we have a town administrator. That is always what we did. That is our protocol. From there, we would notify anybody who was in contact with the potential positive person. This is a list we have to keep. It's confidential, and the only thing that we're told is if you were maybe in contact with somebody, we're supposed to say, gee, if you went to a meeting on such and such a day and you happen to be at town hall, you may have been exposed, watch for symptoms. We can't disclose any names. We need to continue to do that. It's my job. Again, it's a confidential list. It's the only way we can protect everybody in town, including our residents. I have to, whoever I'm talking to, if they've been exposed to somebody, I have to find out who else was in town hall, whether it was registering a car or going to a meeting or in a hearing. So I do have to kind of go out of my way to make sure that we protect our residents. So it's very important. I'm going to ask all departments to please check your PPE supplies. Again, we've been a little lax. Now, I think it's even more important that we make sure that you have what you need, whether it's on your tables or in your departments. So let me know if you need anything. And again, call me or email me. I'll get whatever you need. And that's it.
The only thing I would add, and yeah, we do know there's been relaxed standards lately, and I think things are getting much better, but I do kind of echo what Trish is saying, because we potentially could have a situation where unknowingly we could spread this thing and shut down an entire department.
Yes.
You know, which would be, we're not a very big town. That would be pretty easy and pretty earth-shattering.
Right.
So I would just echo the fact that if you have any questions, right?
Right.
Reach
Please call
out to
me.
Trish, and even if it's just to put your own mind at ease that you're doing the right thing, because when I had this thing, whatever that was, back in April, I think I did the same thing, you know.
Right.
I locked myself in my house though, just to make sure.
Right.
But
And I will help with the current guidelines. If you end up testing positive or you think you have symptoms, call me. Before, you know, I'm certainly not a doctor, but I can walk you through what we recommend or what CDC recommends. Okay?
Yep, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Since somebody mentioned cleaning, D on here is, I believe there's been a increase in our cleaning service, which,
Yes, so Irv Riley is currently doing it, and the agreement that you have with him ends September 1st. So that's why this is on the agenda. He needs to increase the fee just for the police station, because it's a lot more cleaning there, because it's bigger than he anticipated, I guess. So he's increasing it $50.
okay,
So he's also agreed to keep the fee at the same rate until December 31st, 2023.
wow.
So after this bump, he's going to stay at that for the rest of the year?
Till next year, December of 2023.
Oh, okay, for a whole year?
more than that.
15
Right,
months.
well,
Yeah,
these couple months and then the whole year, yeah.
right, 15 months. So that'll make it easier for us to budget for it.
Yeah.
So with that being said, and with everything that's gone up in prices, where the cleaning materials and all that, which he supplies himself, correct?
I believe he brings stuff that he likes, yes.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion that we move to authorize, where is it? I just
The
had it.
chairman.
Cleaning service, right there, you have it, right straight ahead.
Right there, yeah. Move to authorize the chairman to sign the proposed 15-month agreement for weekly cleaning services in the amount of $450 per week for Town Hall, Gale Library, and the police station from Irving Riley, effective September 1st, 2022.
Second.
Seconded by Mike. Any discussion on this? All right. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions or
Yeah,
nays?
one here,
So you're an abstain, right?
yeah,
Okay.
he's a relative.
Right. Okay, so we got that 3 and 1 abstain. So that motion passes. So, you. And, all right, next one is Comcast Franchise Agreement. I think, Diane, you can speak to this, right?
Yep, hang on one second, let me get over there.
So Mike, you made that call and was able to talk to them about that piece that you were worried about being in the contract?
On Comcast?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Talk to
consolidated.
Energy.
That's,
Yeah, that was the
That's
energy.
And Diane has the
Alright.
email
yeah.
that we needed.
All right, so the Comcast franchise fees, it allows Comcast to use the town easements and right-of-ways to service their customers. The Cable Committee held a public hearing on August 4th, this past few weeks ago, to take public input on the agreement. We received one correspondence on the matter from a resident requesting the fee be reduced. The resident stated that the fees collected are placed into the cable revolving fund and can be used for IT purposes. He pointed out that the entire tax base for the town should support IT, not just Comcast subscribers. The committee agreed, and they are recommending to the board to lower the franchise fee from 5% to 3%. This will cover the cost of operating the cable station and some IT services.
So some,
Some.
yeah.
Yeah, and there was talk about where we wanted to, if we were gonna itemize that and all, from all different departments, or just put it into the one, have it as one line item as an IT, which I would think would be a better thing to do, make payroll a lot easier. But,
I'm not sure it'll make payroll easier, but it,
right.
but I mean, this is
But
a
I'm saying in
franchise fee.
general though,
Yeah.
just for this, yeah,
Yeah.
I get this.
So Kim did come up with a list of what we've spent. So that's available to you. Let me see if I can bring that one up. So,
Diane, correct me if I go astray on some of this, but in 2019, we had a warrant article that the townspeople voted on. It was to modify and expand the purpose of the cable revolving fund, and it was to include some of the costs of the town's IT, which back then proved to be really, really helpful in removing a big chunk of the cost from our operating budget, which was a relief to the taxpayers. And what I did, Diane and I have been kind of tracking it from 2020, 2021, into date of 2022, tracking the total franchise fees that we receive annually and comparing it to the expenses on an annual basis. And originally, we were hoping that we wouldn't exceed, our expenses would not exceed the revenue that we were bringing in. And the first year that I started tracking it, we did really, really well. We had like a $10,000. We brought in about $93,000. We spent $82,000. That was great. Didn't touch the principal in the fund. Everything remained steady. 2021, we're adding more services. The town's getting bigger. We're improving our IT equipment, our capabilities throughout the departments. And costs are going up. Materials do go up. Labor goes up. So we brought in about $95,000 through the franchise fee, and that was at 5%. And the expenditures were $97,000. So it was about $2,500 that we went over. Again, we're not dipping into the main principal balance of the account. We're just trying to say, let's see if we can stay in line with money we're bringing in versus money we're spending. This year, it's a little we're getting a little bit off balance here to date, and this is with 3 quarters of payments. We still have one more payment coming in. We have $73,000 of the franchise fee that the town has received so far. We've spent $80,000, so we're kind of going a little off. Again, $7,500. Yes, we are dipping in a little bit to the account, but I believe, what do we have, $178,000?
Yes,
in
around
the
that.
cable revolving fund. So we've been on track, and I think what we need to, or someone, the board, we need to talk about what monies do we want, or what expenses do we want to come out of the cable revolving fund. If the franchise fee is going to be reduced to the 3% that will go into that fund, do we want just monthly managed services? Do we want equipment? Do we want leases? We have all that coming out of that right now. So, I mean, we do have some flexibility, and if you choose to reduce the type of expense that's coming out of the cable revolving fund, now we're going to have to make up for that into the main operating budget that the taxpayers as a whole will help us to fund. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
And that was part, excuse me, but that was part of your, the whole initial thing was so that just not the people that are using Comcast in the town are supporting the IT for the entire town. That's why we're gonna drop it 3%, and then that other part, like you just said, about the rest of the town having to come up with that money, will be kicking into it, so that it wouldn't necessarily all be burned on just the residents that use Comcast in this town?
Yes,
Is
that's
that-
correct.
Yes, yeah. And again, we do have a little bit of, I can't speak on behalf of the cable committee, but we do have some wiggle room within that account, but it's up to them to determine what their future needs are going to be for any kind of hardware, software, as we move forward, you know, with the things that need updating and replacing.
Because it sounds like roughly what you're talking about figures, where we're going to reduce from 5% to 3%, and where you were just talking about it, the numbers, it sounds like roughly we're going to come in about a couple grand short for the year, that we would end up having to come
A
out
little
of.
bit, I think we're going to be shorter a bit more, because right now, we're getting a 5% of the franchise
Right.
fee is going in.
So
And we're already kind of, I mean, believe me,
We're
there's money
kinda
in
like
there, but
right
we're
there,
trying to
right?
just kind of keep it in balance, money in, money out, kind of keep
Right.
it in line.
So really, as part of our budget discussions that we're going to start already having in really just a few weeks, we need to figure that out based upon what we have going on in terms of what line items are going to take on some of this stuff.
And what the
So,
projected projects are for
Right.
the
yeah.
Yep.
couple of years.
I mean, right now, I think in terms of new hardware and stuff, that's coming out of department budgets, right? So if they,
For IT?
for IT?
No.
So it is coming out of this one?
Yes.
So right now, we pay the phone bills.
Yep,
We pay the IT service provider.
yeah.
Leases on the equipment,
Yep.
internet service.
all of that.
It's,
So, I mean, a lot comes out of there, as you can tell by how much we spend.
Yeah, so what we might, we got to take a look at what, like you said, what's the priority? Are we going to go with the, probably the most expensive stuff coming out of there? And then things we can, kind of more one-time fees that we can control, maybe they go back to the department line items. But that's got to be part of the discussion, I think.
Yeah, that's your next line. That's your second one down?
Yeah, exactly.
Your next one down.
But this is good to see it now.
Yeah.
And I like the way you've laid it out here in the spreadsheet, so, but my computer just rebooted, so I don't have it right now. Charlie?
Diane, does this mean that the users are going to have a 2% discount?
Correct. Well, I wouldn't say discount, they won't be paying 2%, they'll only be paying 3% franchise fee. Yeah, just Comcast only. Only Comcast subscribers.
Can I make a comment?
Roger.
Roger wants to speak. Roger,
ahead,
please
Roger.
put your hand up next time. Thank you.
I can't find where to put my hand up.
What did you say?
He couldn't find the hand thing on
Oh.
Zoom, so.
So, yeah, the fee is not paid by Comcast. It's collected by Comcast from the subscribers and then forwarded to the town. So if the franchise fee goes down, all of the subscribers' bill will go down a little bit every month.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Every little bit counts. All right, so that really is food for thought, and I just rebooted here, so I'm getting my agenda back up, but I think that segues into the next one, right?
Well, are you going to,
To sign the Comcast agreement.
Yeah, so we need a motion on that
I'll
one.
make a motion that we move to sign the 10-year franchise agreement with Comcast Communications with an effective date of August 16th, 2022.
Can I get a second on that one?
Second.
Seconded by Charlie. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous.
So that's with the lower franchise fee?
that's correct.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so F is in terms of the budget schedule.
Yes, so I put up, this is the submission that everybody needs to send their budgets in.
This is kind of like going to Walmart and seeing the back to school stuff.
Correct, yes.
A little bit at a time.
Yep.
So
So you just kind of
yep, I just wanted
based
to
it
make
off
sure
of
that
last time and,
he's
So these will all take effect during our regular meetings?
yep.
correct. You see that those days are on there that tell you when they're
Right.
due and when they need to be here.
Yep.
However, the reality of the situation is somewhere in there we might have to add a meeting or two. So,
Right.
but we'll see how we do based on other business, the same nights.
Yep.
But does anybody see any glaring issues with the schedule as proposed so far?
I didn't see any. It looked like it was pretty well divided up
Yeah,
to start, like you
Almost like
said.
we know what we're doing sometimes.
I know.
All right, so you're good with that? I can send that out then?
No objections.
No
Yeah,
objections.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna send, huh?
Yeah, that's the other half of the team, right?
I'm sending out just the schedule. You're sending out the other stuff.
send out the schedule, I send out the other stuff when things are due. If you give it to everybody all at once, I mean, you can, and then I can just send out a reminder, but I usually send out everything to the first group of people so that it's kind of fresh. Do what you want, I'll just piggyback on and do
All right, what I'll do is I'll send it out to everybody and then you can reinforce it.
when I need the.
Yeah, because this way here, they have no excuse not to be ready. Okay, we'll do it that way.
All right, excellent.
I have a question.
Go ahead, yeah.
Are we going to, does the board want to continue as we have in the past of just for me to create the proposed budget worksheets with current year's budget, expenditures, variance, proposed budget, variance, just as we've done before. I know Charlie's aware of it, and Matt, you are too. Do you have any changes that you want to introduce?
At the moment, no, I don't, but I wouldn't doubt there being some changes based on other changes as we move forward.
Okay.
Well, if that
Those
wasn't
changes have
Kristen-
not changed yet, so.
Well, maybe you can enlighten a little bit on the changes,
Yeah,
because that was another question that I had. as
Hopefully
to-
we'll be able to enlighten soon.
Yeah, well, we can start with that for now anyways.
Exactly,
I mean,
yeah.
a bunch of us are gonna be sitting in on that lengthy
Workshop, yes.
workshop, so
Yeah.
we might pick up on something that might help that we could add to that, you know what I mean? To help make life a little easier too.
Okay.
So,
We'll see what happens.
so I
with
guess
that.
what I'm hearing is we're
Status quo.
status quo for now. That's not to say we're not going to have any other ideas to come
Okay.
forward with. So.
All right.
I'll throw you one of my ideas. It's not that you're going to do this. But to go back and look at last year or the previous year, you might want to look at 3 years' worth of data and see what your trends are.
I have 7 years of data.
So if I was a department head, I might want to look at the 7 years and see trends. Just throwing that out there.
That is available.
Okay.
That's good. On an aside, I just wanted to let the board know that the 2021 audit, I was in touch with the auditor today. I was able to get information from, that we were waiting from other departments, get them over to the auditor. She said that she's got everything that she needs, and things should be wrapped up pretty soon.
Oh, good.
Okay. And one other item, you're all aware that Diane's on vacation, effective next week for 3
Well, now
weeks.
everybody's aware.
What?
Everybody's aware now.
Now everybody's aware.
Well, the concern is especially with the town hall staff, is we're going to have the selectman's office closed, as well as no town administrator. We have staff coming in, we have residents coming in asking about town administrator, what's going on with that, with the Board of Selectmen secretary gone for 3 weeks. A little bit of direction to help us out would be appreciated.
How about we're working on it?
That really is very difficult. Yeah, that's difficult to...
Yeah. What are the dates again, Diane? Just so the town knows.
I know. Can I have a watch on my house, please?
It's,
We didn't
You
say
get it all
were-
done in
you know,
one
You
shot.
just said, we
Yeah.
didn't say you were going away. I just
Yeah,
said
I
you're going
know,
on
right.
vacation.
I'll be gone August 24th through September 9th.
okay. So we.
That's next week.
Yep,
So,
absolutely. Yep. So we will have direction for you soon, I guess is what we can tell you right now. My guess is, and I'm kind of segueing to some other things we're not at yet, but we'll probably have some extra meetings coming up before now and then, so. Go ahead, Joe.
I'd like to make a suggestion that
Sure.
maybe a couple of the selectmen, like fill in on a rotating basis to help them out, because I was down there last week, and I'll tell you, it was absolutely crazy, the people who were coming in asking for things. So I think it'd be a good idea if you folks put your heads together and say, okay, I'll spend a couple hours here, I'll spend a couple hours there. Just take it under advisement.
Yep, that's a possibility. That's probably a good possibility, so. All right, so like I said, we'll talk about this in a minute, but we might have some other meetings. We will probably have some other meetings that we have to put on the schedule. But F, we already did F. So G, open sealed bids for oil and propane. So it looks like we got 3 of them. So want to go this way and that way? So per normal, we're going to open these and give them to Diane, and you'll kind of put together an apples to apples type thing for us to decide on? Was that the plan still?
You can probably announce who we got bids from.
Yeah, just not the dollar figures, but what companies maybe is probably the best thing to do. Charlie, do you, or go ahead, Bob.
Suburban propane,
Cool. Charlie, who do you have?
This energy?
Cool, and you have
Palmer,
Palmer.
Palmer
And-
Oil, sorry.
And does it look like they bid on both propane and number 2 heating oil?
Yes.
Yep,
Yeah,
plus service.
That's what you asked, Diane, right, in the RFP, was for,
Yep.
Yeah, it
like,
was for
quote for
both.
both? So, I'll take a look and,
Which I expected here. When I look at the date, did you ask these to come in by a certain date?
Yes.
What date was that?
August 4th, I believe?
Okay, so the way the market's going right now and the pricing, I'll bet you if you look at those two, this one's already expired. Because, no, and it's the way the market is right now, but just to keep that in mind, the pricing will
There's
have to be
nothing-
updated.
Unless you guys are willing to meet with somebody right then and there, you're not gonna get, so this is their quote.
No, I
It's like this
understand.
is,
That's the world I've come from.
But I mean, that's the quote, that's what they're offering you.
yep, based
You
on
can't
400
change it.
gallons of propane.
Well, now we have to go back and get it so if we decide,
You
I don't
can't,
have, I don't
I
think I
do
have
not
oil.
believe that because you asked for sealed bids,
yeah,
that is your bids. You can reject them all
96.
and go back and try again, but you're gonna end up in
Yeah.
the same predicament, is what I'm, okay, because it's a sealed bid.
can we do a sealed bid that has to be in on a certain date and open at that date?
398.
That the selectmen meet at the
98?
town hall on the date that those are due, say by noon time, and we'll sit there and make a decision at that time.
Yeah, I guess you could. You'd have to make the decision that night though, right?
That's fine. So in this world, that's, and it's in my world,
Only,
that's what's gonna be needed, not in order to make a decision and not lose what the prices are.
Okay, so
Right,
you want to go back out for
463.
sealed bids.
so what I'm gonna suggest is,
Here's the problem right here.
huge
To the state?
difference.
We've already passed it.
yeah,
Here, you're talking
Until
64
this
cents a
until
gallon.
then.
yeah, so all we can do is ask at that
6,500
point
gallons.
if they're gonna honor the bid, which you have more experience with these places anyway, so let's see what their response is,
6,500.
but yeah, there's a,
We say 60.
you'll see, you haven't read these yet, Diane, but
No.
you'll see that the
So I don't
dates
know
are,
what they-
the dates were reflective of,
Right,
when
of
they
when
got
they
them,
put the
but-
bid in, right.
yeah,
It's just such
Which is a
volatility in the market.
which is
that
always a
that's what's
problem when
happening.
you guys want to go out for bid for this.
right.
So I would suggest next year you don't do a
Not much,
sealed
'cause it
bid.
was
You
pennies.
just have the next person call
196,
around
it was
and
like
get the price that
199.
day.
The next person?
The next person,
Not you? No.
not me.
That actually is a better idea, and
You can
quite
read-
frankly, there's apps and things now
This one.
where you can get the information, so,
As I said, you have the right to refuse all bids.
absolutely. Are you guys good with that? We'll turn them over.
Yep.
Take a look at this. I'll give this to you at the end of the,
Yeah. You don't have to seal it.
You don't have to reseal. This was an unsealing.
Just so
All
they don't
right.
fall
So
out.
do you still want me to do a comparison on these, or are you going to reject all the bids?
I don't want to reject the bids.
Okay.
Is that what, are you guys
We kind of figured out with our two, we don't know.
already?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
there's huge difference
Huge.
between the two we had.
So, I mean, we could always entertain motions tonight as well, right?
That's true.
Not a problem.
So you
Okay,
had,
that's 190,
yep,
and that's $4.15.
which is still more than what you had.
Yeah, so mine's the cheapest.
And you had, who'd you have?
I had, Captain's.
Hefner's, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody want to make a motion?
hold on.
Oh, yeah, let Mike look at this.
There's not one in there for it. But I'll make a motion that we accept Hafner's bid for the town for both propane and home heat and oil.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Second.
Seconded by Charlie. Do you want to have
There
some
was
more
a huge
time?
difference between the two we did. It came up over $4,000 just in the home
We
heat
can
and
come back to
oil.
this at the end
Price
if
per
you want.
gallon.
Come back to this, is something to keep reading?
So can we come back to this at the end of the meeting?
Yeah, yeah.
So I believe we can keep the motion
Keep it open?
open or tabled, I forget
Yeah,
what the term is.
table the motion for
Yep.
now.
So
Mike.
hold that thought.
Yep.
So,
When we figured out price per gallon for just the oil, because it was 64 cents, it was a difference of the total gallons of over $4,000 between Hafner's and the other one that I had.
4,000, are you sure you read it right?
Yeah,
Really?
huge difference.
Wow,
so
good.
I did want to move on. We can come back to this before the meeting's over. I do want to move on. It looks like H is Selectmen's next meeting and a public hearing that has to be scheduled. So we have, August is a longer month, and then in September, we're scheduled to meet on the Tuesday after Labor Day, which is the 6th. Is that,
Correct.
did I get that right? So that's the 6th. As the town all knows, Diane's on vacation. I am also on vacation. We're not going to the same place though, but we'll be on the same week. We'll be on vacation. So-
With all that being said, Matt, I think we had a lot of important stuff coming up, and I'd like to see us try to meet on that August 30th
That's what I'm
date.
thinking.
And see if we can't get, what do you call it? If he can sit in and take the minutes.
Yeah, because you'll have left on the 24th, so one of the other secretaries, might be one around here too, might be able to come in and take minutes for us. However, as Diane usually goes from the video anyway, right?
Most of the time,
So-
yes, but if you're gonna do this, you're gonna need someone here to do this.
It's gonna have to
Zoom
get
anyways.
posted.
Yeah.
Or not posted, but at
But
least,
she can post before she leaves, right? So you can post before you leave that we're having a meeting, right?
Oh,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
right, yeah.
So, so it sounds like, is everybody available? Is that the 30th? Is that
Yeah,
what? So I think we should move the 6th meeting to the 30th, if that works for everybody.
yep,
30th of August.
so 2 weeks from today.
Yep. And so we would like to get cable for that night. Hopefully somebody's available.
Yeah, I'll have to ask Kevin if he's available. And do you want me to ask, who do you want me to ask here to sit in and do the Zoom portion along with the minutes?
I don't know if Jim's comfortable with that, because I think what Bob was trying to say was Jim does it for
Who's Jim?
planning
Yeah.
board. So if he's comfortable with it,
All right, I'll ask Jim then.
30th of August?
Please.
Is that what- Okay.
if that works.
Yep.
Same time, same station.
Mike, you're good that date?
Yep.
Charlie, how about you?
All right, cool.
Nice.
And then,
So if Kevin's not, let's say one of them is not available, like Kevin does your video and
yeah,
audio.
right, right.
So if you give me a minute, you can let him figure that out and let me go ask him
Yeah,
if
good
he's
idea.
available. All right.
Thank you.
You want me to sing for you while we're waiting?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
In mind.
I was gonna say, no, we don't.
No, my wife uses the line, do you know why they sing that, Bob?
Thank you.
Because they can.
Saved by the bell here, Bob. So it sounds like the 30th is a go.
Nice.
Now, the public hearing,
So that is to accept the additional money that we got, the one-time money we got from the Highway Block Fund.
yep,
And because it was unanticipated, we need to have a public hearing. Kim and I talked about it, and we were looking at September 20th. If you're good with that, I'll send out the information to the paper and get it on the website.
yeah, so we'll do like a 7 o'clock public hearing.
like we normally do, yeah.
To 7:15,
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah, right at the very beginning.
I like that idea.
That works.
Okay,
All right,
so that's good.
thank you. Now, we have an update to our town hall user agreement.
Yeah, basically, all I did there was just change the amount of people that could be here. I think we're set to 39 at this point. The other thing I did, I added the signature page.
Cool. So this is the agreement if you're like the scouts or
Correct.
somebody like that
Yep.
wanted to use it. Yep.
Right.
So I'll make a motion that we move to accept the amended town hall user agreement as proposed, effective immediately.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, old PC disposal.
So, you know your old PCs that some of you had? They're in my office, sitting there gathering dust. I checked with our IT provider, and they're not really worth anything. And I was hoping I could use the company that I've used before. They come, they take them away, they give us a certificate that they are destroyed, wiped clean. So we have that, and we file it away. If I could use that company again to get rid of these, clean up my office a little bit.
Is there a cost associated
No.
with that? Okay.
They even come and pick them up.
Yep. Anybody have any issues with that? Nope. Nope. All right, so you need a motion on that?
Yeah, probably would be good.
So I'll make a motion to allow Diane to,
Just basically, you want to move to dispose of the old PCs
properly
properly.
dispose of
Yeah.
the old
Yep, we're good.
IT equipment.
Yep.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Cool, thank you. So now the Marshall House insurance claim, we've been talking
Hold on
about
one
that.
second.
Go ahead.
Mike, you all set with all those?
Oh, you want to go back?
Yeah, so just to let the board know, I've reviewed this. So Palmer Gas, they're very clear about the expiration date. They're very clear about the volume. So in this business, it's going to be based on volume. Volume equals discount. The other two, so this one's actually expired. We can't really look at that, but in your analysis over there, you are correct. However, there is no what we call volume swing. So I don't know if in these contracts, this is where the gray language comes in. I don't know if there's an overcharge, meaning if you go over it, it goes to spot price, and spot price over the winter is expected to spike. So you'd be subject to whatever that spot price is. And if there's an under, in other words, we said 6,500, I'm gonna make it simple, 10,000 gallons, right? If there's a swing clause in there that says you're allowed 10% differential between that 10,000, you must use 9,000, you use 8,000 gallons, we're gonna hit you for that 1,000 gallons even though you didn't use it,
Right.
right? Because we based it on a volume. You committed, you must use. So there's just some language I would ask us to, and I'm probably being over-lawyered on this, coached very well over here, but want to make sure that we're not getting ourselves into something that could potentially bite us. So I would agree that your analysis is right on price per gallon, but that may not equal the true cost, and that's in the language that we need just to get clarified. So I'll just leave it there.
So is there a contract in there, or is it just?
I'll have contracts, and that's what the vague part is.
So,
It's based on 6,500, and I've seen people come back and say, well, you didn't use 6,500, we need to charge you.
so that, I would like to see us do a motion with the stipulation that we get clarity
Yep.
on that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Bob, you were the
I'll
one who
add
did
that
the
to my
motion.
motion.
Does, is that enough, Diane? Do we need to
And
do
you
the
can
whole
hit me
motion
up,
on
Diane,
it?
I'm happy to have,
Do what?
you can hit me up, I'm happy to have the conversation with these folks as well,
Okay.
with you.
So you want to clarify the contract?
I want to clarify their languages
Okay,
to make sure that we're not going to get hit.
okay.
Okay, that makes sense. Are you still a second,
Yep.
Charlie?
Yep.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So that's unanimous. Okay, Marshall House insurance claim. We've been talking about that. There was a little difference there. And I guess what Diane, you were saying this week is you just need us to give you an official
Correct.
motion to
Yeah,
accept.
because I sent out the
Yep.
response
Yep,
that an employee is an employee, it's not a contractor, so you cannot expect to get paid for him for doing his job,
Yep.
basically. So we're still saving money because he's doing it.
Right.
So, I mean, if you
Well-
want to go out for a contract, that's different. Then we'll have to wait a while.
I think this is the way to go.
I'll make the motion, we move to accept the insurance settlement from Primex, claim number PR 20223013214214 for the water damage due to the leak in the roof at the Marshall House in the amount of $5,759.69.
Anybody want to second that?
I'll second it.
All right, any discussion? Looks like
So
Trish has something.
here's my question on discussion. It's not on the agenda, so what is this again?
This was the roof in the Marshall House, the leak, and we filed a claim.
Okay.
To
It
get-
didn't make the agenda, I just printed it out. So it's an insurance claim on the Marshall House?
Yeah, we have it on
Okay.
our agenda.
Yeah, it didn't make the public one.
Okay,
I just printed this out, no, it didn't.
Right, it didn't make the
Oh,
public
it
one.
didn't, okay. All right.
cool.
But right in the bottom, it says that things can be added.
Okay. And that's what you were curious, like, none of us have it up here.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All right, so we had a motion and a second, right?
Yep.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, and L, we've received a couple of resignations regrettably, and we need to motion to accept them. I would say one thing, and this is just kind of a general comment, but I've said it before in here. We have openings on just about every board, committee, commission, whatever in the town. Our volunteers are our greatest asset. There's a few of us who get paid a little something for this duty, right? All of us up here get a little something, but the vast majority of the boards and commissions, we have people who are volunteers who do a lot of stuff for the town that never even gets recognized. And in my opinion, the worst thing that we can do is drive them out because we make unreasonable expectations upon them, or we just don't take a deep breath, or take a minute before we ask for something. We don't decide to approach people in a certain way in a meeting. So I guess the only thing I would say is I'm extremely disappointed about this resignation. I understand it, but I'm disappointed by it. And I would just make as a general statement, if you're coming before a town committee, just try to be patient and understand that the vast majority of people are doing this because they love the town, they want to help the town. And truthfully, the only time we recognize it sometimes is when the people resign, and then all of a sudden, a few months or a year later, somebody says, hey, how come we don't do this anymore, or we don't do that? Well, it's because we lost a key volunteer. Looks like Trish wants to
Well,
say
just to piggyback on what
Yeah.
Chairman Matt says, all of you here, and I'm speaking to the choir here, but those of you in TV land, and when you watch us on YouTube, as the chairman said, we're all volunteers. And in one particular case, we've lost a member on the Conservation Commission who was brought to tears at our last meeting, was screamed and yelled at, and who worked herself to death along with her family. And there was no need for that. It shouldn't have happened. And I reminded people at the meeting that we are volunteers. We're doing the best we can. We go out with our children, our grandchildren, and our husbands to try to clear fields, mow lands, cut grass, install stakes, put up signs. It's clearly not what we do for our main job. And for those residents that came to the meeting, we appreciate you. However, we lost somebody that night, and if you would please come back and help us out and maybe send a little encouragement her way. You all know who she is if you were at that meeting. That would be great. It was unnecessary, and it shouldn't happen on any committee. Recreation, same thing. They don't get paid for what they do. They do the best that they can. Zoning, planning. We're all here trying to do what's best for the town. Residents need to cut us a little slack, and if you don't like what's happening, put on your hat and join the team then, because that's the only way you can make a change. Thank you.
anything
And
else?
I'm gonna quote a verse out of the Bible that says, "Do unto your brother as you would have them do unto you." And that includes respect, dignity, and honor, the way most people would like to be treated. And these volunteers and these people that exert all this extra time and energy well beyond their families and whatever, they deserve that. They deserve that at the least for the job that they do to this town.
Yeah, I echo that. The information that I've been giving is disturbing. There is no place in a public setting to trash somebody else publicly.
Right.
And shame on that person if that actually happened. I was not there. However, to the person that resigned, I will personally apologize on behalf of this town that should never have gotten to that point. And that's terrible, and I apologize.
Thanks.
All right, anybody want to make a motion on these?
I'm going to make a motion that we move to accept with thanks and gratitude Alicia Geilen's resignation from the Conservation Commission and as a ballot clerk to boot.
Anybody want to
With
second?
regret, I will second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm a no.
Okay. Okay, so that's 3 and 1 nay. And we thank her for her service. And we also have another one, Bob. Did you want to make this
Yeah, I'm
one?
going to make a motion that we move to accept with thanks and gratitude Abigail Smith's resignation as firefighter/EMT.
Second.
Seconded by Charlie. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, let me just get back to my agenda. Okay, so we're under other business at this point. And if there's nothing else.
I got something.
You get, okay, hold on, Charlie and then Kim. Go ahead, Charlie.
Well, I was going to ask him.
Okay, Kim, you want to come up? I think Charlie's gonna need you.
Kim, I'm asking you about the $49,000 that was put into the fire department budget, not the fire department, the police department, should have went into the fire department. Does that have to get transferred over?
It went into the main operating account.
Right, now, how do we get it out of the main operating account and get it into their account, the fire department's account, so that they can expend the money?
What's the
The
fire department?
is part of the main operating budget,
Oh, so it would just come from there?
correct.
Okay,
What is that, a grant?
yeah.
Okay.
And it's a
for the
completely
power
different
station.
budget line item. It's not budgeted for in the fire department. It's all part of a grant, which is a separate budget line item, so
So
it's,
there just won't be no problems when they purchase
no,
it?
no.
That's all I'm
It's in the
concerned
same
with.
account,
Yeah, okay.
same bank.
And you had something, Kim?
I do.
Yeah.
I've been approached by 2 department heads and 1 employee about employee evaluations. I was curious as to what answer I should give the 3 of them as to whether or not there is an opportunity for department heads, employees, to receive a evaluation this year.
Yeah, I think the plan is still to, as we have done in years past, to do evaluations. And town administrator getting on board will be I think, a key piece to that.
Because these usually start June and July.
Yeah. I think the key thing is to have them done before, the budget season and the lockout date. So that'll be the goal.
Okay. One other thing, with Diane's position becoming vacant at the end of the year, I just want to impress upon the board the importance of having the job description, getting the opportunity, the availability out in the public so that we can start. Don't want to get rid of you, but time goes by very, very quickly this time of year. We're already halfway through August. We're talking about September with budgets. We have tax rate setting in October. We have DRA reports that have to be submitted next month. And then we're in full swing. And I just want to make sure, or ask the board to
Absolutely.
please move along and
Yep.
consider that. Thank you.
Well, we've already been talking about it,
It
Okay.
is
to make sure it
engaged.
gets taken care of.
Where is the process stand right now?
At the beginning.
About this high.
No, I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah.
Right, we've engaged.
Yeah.
We've had some dialogue about it. And I think the thing that we need to do is figure out the next step forward. And I think the next step forward is engaging somebody to get some applications, but it's the next step meaning when. And then from there, how do we backfill
Right.
the correct date? The correct date for your last day will be?
12/31.
Is the end of-
2025.
Exactly.
So.
It's our next motion.
From the 31st, I think we need as a board, if you think about it, I'm
Right.
wearing my public hat, sorry, non-public hat, but I know somebody's leaving, I want somebody in place by X date, and what does X date look like? And we have to, I'm one vote, right? So
Right.
we have to agree to that, and then from there, backfill, when does that
Right.
process start, right? And
Yep.
that's the communication we're having.
And that's kind of what I was going to suggest too, because obviously, much like our town administrator, Diane is a key component. And I know you've been interviewing other people. I don't know if there was anyone there that would be a good qualified person to be able to step into her shoes. But even if you had to do it sooner rather than later, like Selectman Mike says, and people are going to say, what about our budgets? If we have to pull from our fund, our
Unassigned fund balance?
thank you, oh my gosh, I'm having a blonde senior moment here. We can do that. We can write a hardship letter. So if we had to hire somebody that could work with her for a couple of months so that she could train them appropriately, if there is an ability to do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So do we want to move on to the manifest?
Let me start.
Sounds good.
Move to sign the vendor manifest dated August 16th, 2022 in the amount of $191,110.95.
Second.
Seconded by Bob. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Move to sign inspector fee revolving fund dated August 16th, 2022 in the amount of $308 even.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Move to sign recreation revolving fund dated August 16th, 2022 in the amount of $2,314.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Move to sign the payroll manifest for pay period July 31st through August 13th, 2022, with a pay date of August 18th, 2022. Total payroll is $56,746.58, which includes $776.48 of the ARPA administrative cost.
Second.
Seconded by Bob. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Requisitions. Move to sign the fire department requisition FD 2022-010 in the amount of $11,191.45 for emergency repairs to Tanker 4, funds to come from the 2022 fire department budget line item 4220317 vehicle repairs.
Second.
All right, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Move to sign the fire department requisition 1050FD in the amount of $9,558 even. Emergency lighting package and installation for the new vehicle, 50% of the funds to come from the 2022 fire department budget line item 4220303 and 50% from the line item 4220312.
Second.
Seconded by Bob. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Move to sign the police department requisition number 2021-1 in the amount of $7,351.67 for the purchase of 4 tasers. Funds to come from the 2022 police department budget line item 421000303.
That's requisition number 2022, not 2021, Diane.
Yeah, I have it. Okay, thank you.
Second for discussion. Chief, did you want to pull this one, or you're? No, you guys have voted on it. Okay. All right. Any discussion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, I think we're looking at the minutes now.
Okay, minutes. Move to accept the non-public and public minutes dated August 2nd, 2022, as written.
Second?
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any reviews of non-public session minutes for unsealing? All right, hearing none. Any announcements?
September 17th.
Yeah, well, actually, so September 15th, and I believe ticket on sale information is coming out like very shortly, will be the senior barbecue for Old Home Day. So that'll be Thursday, September 15th, 5 to 7, hosted at the police department. Gonna expect to have members of the board help cook that day, so that might turn people away, I realize, but we'll keep an eye on them. So that's the first thing, so that's Thursday, and then Saturday, September 17th, 11 to 4, will be Old Home Day. Information came out today, there'll be more stuff coming out, but there'll be fun for the whole family, so we're hoping for good weather. Any other announcements?
Oh, the primary is September 13th, too.
Yeah, we'll be back again, but that's, I mean, put it on your calendar, right?
Yeah.
So that'll
Save the
be,
date.
save the date, Tuesday, 8 to 8, September 13th, the fire station. That'll be for the primary. So I believe, and I'm sure MJ will correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there's still time to register to vote beforehand, and you can always register at the polls, but
Yep.
don't forget that one, really. I think it's important, and people sometimes forget it because it's still kind of in the summer and it gets lost, but make sure you're there. And we can talk about coverage at our next meeting, but we want to make sure we have 3
Yeah. Yep.
board members there. Anything else?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Hearing no objections. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, everybody.